Hello friends and welcome to the Crypto Stacker channel. My name's Dean. Tonight I'm going to do things a little bit differently, speak a little more from the heart. I'm not going to talk about a specific project, but rather just give you some of my observations from the last week or two and discuss some things that maybe we can look to create a more positive space to attract outside investors. Before I do that, I do want to throw out a couple of thank yous. I want to say thank you to the members of my community who participated in a live stream this week where I was trolled with kindness. People came forward and donated a lot of money, which helped me to upgrade my studio. So I wanted to say thank you. My efficiency and my workflow so much smoother. So I really, truly appreciate you. I hope you're blessed many times over what you gave me, and I'll do my best to keep bringing you quality content. Secondly, I want to thank an official sponsor for the channel. The sponsor is iTrustCapital. If you're old like me and getting close to retirement, or if you're young and don't want to end up old like me, close to retirement and feeling a little unprepared, start investing in your future by putting money into IRAs. iTrustCapital has an IRA that you can invest in cryptocurrencies within the platform. They have many of the top 30 cryptocurrencies, all of the major players, and even a couple of community tokens like Doge and Shiba that you can invest in to start building a secure future for yourself and make it so you don't have to work till you die. Check out the link in the description, and clicking on it helps me to keep the channel going. All right, folks, before I jump into the heavy stuff, I will just say briefly, it's nice to see the market doing some positive things. Bitcoin in the last week up 15%, Ethereum up 17%, Cardano almost 32% up in the last 7 days. So we're seeing a lot more green on the screen. I'm hoping that alone will go a long ways towards helping to heal some of what I'm viewing in the community as just people being absolutely worn out, short-tempered, and honestly a little bit toxic. So let's talk about it. So what I'm seeing is in the crypto space, things can turn really quickly, right? For better or for worse. And sometimes when we see a project turn, people in other communities tend to look at that as an opportunity to smash the project, only to find out that their turn is coming soon, right? So things can switch really quickly. Then the communities who have felt disrespected take the opportunity to smash another community, and the cycle just keeps continuing as things flip back and forth. It's unhealthy, guys. It's something that I think that we need to change. We have seen how developers, through poor calculation, poor communication, or poor timing, have had some major missteps that have caused some devastation to the charts and to the attitudes inside the communities. I've watched how tribalism, or us building these communities, can be extraordinarily healthy and create a bunch of strength, or it can become extraordinarily toxic as we don't make any space within our tribes for people to have dissenting opinions or to bring concerns forward. Essentially, if you're not with us, you're against us mentality. And I think that needs to change as well. I've seen a lot of people hurting. Quite frankly, I've been hurting quite a bit. Things that are going on in my personal life are complicated right now. I've got some really difficult projects going in my regular work life and in my own personal life with my family. We've had some interesting challenges. Nobody's dying and everybody's going to be okay. But as a family, they've been difficult things to work through. And now that we're coming out the back end of those, hopefully things will improve. But on top of all of that, we've had the weightiness of this really difficult and toxic space that we're all participating in. I don't know, some people really feed into that and they enjoy it. For me personally, I don't enjoy it very much at all. And I think if I were an outside investor looking in, unless you're a person who 100% of the time likes to watch reality TV shows that end badly, I think we need to clean it up so we can attract outside investors. I've learned as I've really started observing and digging into communities and talking with people in the chats, looking at the discords, that there are so many more good people than there are bad actors. But sometimes the bad actors have the loudest voices, so we tend to focus on that and not really understanding that below that, in the broader community, there's a lot of people that are getting hurt. As we attack at the top, it filters down and people feel personally attacked in spite of the fact that they're just trying to make a better life for themselves investing. I've had a lot of conversations with people over the last week, and it really isn't a high-level observation, but what I'm seeing is people, everybody, really wants the same thing. We want to be heard, we want to be valued, and we want to be respected. And quite frankly, we haven't been affording that courtesy to each other within the communities, let alone between separate communities. So I'd love to see us change the narrative. And so things I think we could do to change that up a little bit, I think if we start with developers, you guys are out front, you're leading. I think a lot of us have respect for the fact that what you're doing is difficult. You are leading these big projects. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of competition. And so you're out there having to put your best foot forward. And quite frankly, we've seen some major missteps. What we'd like to see, I think, is a higher level of professionalism, a higher level of courtesy between the communities. When another community fails or slips, instead of throwing gas on their fire, maybe extend a hand out there to lift them back up. Of course, we want you to compete as hard as you can and push your project to the top of the pile, but do it in a way that shows that the whole space is respected and that there's room enough there for everybody. If you make mistakes, own it. And if apologies are necessary, offer them up. We've seen people do it this week. Quite frankly, I think those apologies have been met with sincere gratitude from people who really just want to feel like people care enough about them and their feelings, their money, that they're willing to accept responsibility, apologize, and move forward together. You guys can gain our trust by delivering consistently, by not overpromising, and by simply showing us that you've got our backs when it comes to we're putting our trust in you with our money. You've got our backs by delivering. All right, as far as the communities and the creators go, there's been quite a back and forth dialogue, and I think there's a lot of things at play there. My first observation is we tend to have a very tribalized view of things. If you're not with us, you're against us. Not a very healthy attitude in investing. Realistically, we should be looking at multiple good projects, diversifying our bags, and that way, if there's a misstep in one element or one investment in there, hopefully the other ones are bolstering us up. If somebody brings a real concern, it's not FUD. We've got to stop throwing that around. People are using the term FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, as a means of shutting down the conversation. If you're not towing the party line, if you're not saying what we want you to say, you're fudding the project, and therefore you're the enemy, right? It's completely unhealthy. People should be allowed to bring concerns forward. They should be allowed to bring dissenting opinions. We can listen to them. We don't necessarily have to agree. If we're arguing about something, bring some evidence to the party. Don't make a bunch of wild assumptions about people's motives. It's just not healthy and not helping. Okay, I saw a Twitter space this week where somebody said they felt bad, or they were feeling like it was, somebody should take responsibility for the fact that a lot of people lost money to failed transactions. Now, the person conducting the space essentially said that they were unaware of people losing money in failed transactions. Therefore, that person was just fudding the project, and if they didn't stop, they'd be kicked out of the space. Okay? Guys, seriously, you got to be able to allow people to bring some dissent and to talk about the downside of some of these missteps that have taken place here recently. It doesn't mean that the developers are bad people or that they're not acting in good faith, But when they make missteps, they may have to own that. They may not be able to right every wrong. Yes, those fees went to miners in the Ethereum blockchain, but if everything is working smoothly, it may not have happened. That's what the person was trying to say, just my opinion. So I think instead of just saying every dissenting idea is FUD, let's listen to what people have to say. And when you're bringing your dissent, try to bring it in a way that's respectful. I think if we're willing to do that and hear each other out, we're going to find that we're more closer to the same values and opinions than we are on opposite sides of the fence. Lastly, for myself, I just want to say, I've had a rough go lately. I've felt like I really wanted to bring good things to the communities that I'm working with. And in doing that, in trying to speak about any other project, I get some lack of love from a few individuals. And it was pretty easy for me to assign that to the whole community. And that really wasn't fair. So many of you have come forward. You've said so many kind things. I just want to apologize for my part in that. And I'm hoping that we can mend some fences and that going forward we can continue to collaborate together. I would ask for those of you who are trolling really hard, you got to know not everybody's in a good headspace all the time, and sometimes there is a straw that will break the camel's back. And so please try to exhibit a little more kindness. If you're not in line with somebody's content or you're not in line with somebody's idea, you don't have to smash it every single time. Just choose a different place to be. Go congregate with people who have like ideas with yours and help build that community up. It isn't about smashing another community. That doesn't move your project ahead, right? It's like saying in a car race that by you pushing somebody else's brakes, it's going to somehow move your car forward. It doesn't work that way. Step on your own gas pedal. Let people step on theirs. Some people, quite frankly, are riding in multiple cars at the same time. It's an investment. It's not your wife. It's not your husband. You can have lots of them. There shouldn't be an issue with that. It's actually a safer way to do things. Get a little diversification. Folks, I'm not trying to sound like a lecturer. I'm not trying to sound holier than thou, but it has been exhausting, quite frankly, to participate in the DeFi space in these small communities. And I know, at least in my opinion, people looking from the outside in, they can't want to jump into the middle of what looks like a really nasty mess. So let's see what we can do to turn the tides, make things more positive, and grow our communities. Friends, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping in with me today. Check back with me soon. We'll watch our crypto stacks grow together.